Hey guys, Break here, and today we're going to be talking about Classic WoW and the best professions for gold making in Classic WoW. Now this list is just going to be my opinion on what I think is going to be good. I did play Classic WoW at the time, but I wasn't very much into gold making. However, I have been researching quite a lot, seeing what the private server guys have been saying, seeing what all the Classic experts have been saying, and I have come up with what I think are going to be the best professions, but again, it is just my opinion. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to rank the gathering professions, or the professions that I'm going to be using whilst leveling up, which for me is going to be gathering. So I think the best gathering profession in Classic WoW, particularly whilst leveling, is going to be skinning. Now the reason I think that is the case is because it's very, very easy to do. Most of the mobs that you see can be skinned, or at least a lot of the mobs that you see can be skinned, and you don't have to go out of your way to do it. You literally kill a mob you need for a quest, and then you can skin it. It's really, really easy, and it's a great way to get some extra gold without going out of your way. The other reason skinning is probably the best gathering profession is you can only realistically have one of either mining or herbalism. Now this is because in Classic WoW you can't search for herbs and for ores on your minimap at the same time. They don't let you do that. So pretty much nobody has both herbalism and mining because it's really, really difficult to see them both. So most people go for skinning and then either herbalism or mining, and that's why I think skinning is really, really good. Interestingly, I'm only talking about leveling up gold here. Now at endgame, if you want to have gathering professions at endgame, I think that both herbalism and mining are going to be better than skinning. But I'm just talking about what's easiest whilst leveling up and what's the best gold making profession whilst leveling up. And I'm going to go for skinning just because it's so easy. Next up, I'm going to go for herbalism. I think herbalism is going to be better than mining. Now, the main reasons for this is because it just generally sells for more. What we've seen on some of the classic servers, from some of my research at least, is that a lot of the herb stacks can go for like 20 gold, whereas some of the ore stacks, the equivalent ore stacks, go for like 3 gold. So herbalism can sell for like 5-6 times more than the ore stacks. Now, certainly when you do mining, you do have a chance to get some gems, which you can then sell, some rare stuff, which you can sell for quite a lot. But at the same time, you can get rare herbs as well. And I think just in general, herbalism is going to be better than mining. Another reason I would put herbalism slightly ahead of mining is because of the profession it corresponds to. Now, herbalism usually corresponds with alchemy, and alchemy is a much better gold-making profession than blacksmithing or engineering, which is what mining corresponds to. So if you are looking to pair up professions as a viable way of making gold, then again, herbalism comes up ahead of mining. Okay, so whilst I ranked the gathering professions from best to worst, I'm going to rank the crafting professions from worst to best. And I think definitely the worst crafting profession for gold making at endgame is engineering. Engineering's always been a fun profession, but it's never really been a great gold making profession. You could argue that, say, in Legion in particular, it was actually pretty good, and stuff like the auto repair stuff and all of that is really, really useful. But I think in general, particularly in Classic WoW, it doesn't offer very much at all. The only real way to make gold with engineering in Classic is to get one of the really rare recipes and then charging people to make it for them. And I mean, apart from that, it's really not the best. It is fun though. It's very fun. I think in PvP and PvE, you get all sorts of different bombs and different speed helmets and all of that kind of stuff, which is really, really good. So I think if you are into that, then go for it. But for gold making, I wouldn't say it's the best. Okay, so next up as the second worst crafting profession is going to be leatherworking. Now it's pretty close, I think, between leatherworking and blacksmithing, but the problem with leatherworking in Classic is it doesn't offer a great deal apart from the gear, whereas the other ones, blacksmithing and particularly tailoring, they offer extra things as well as the gear. And I think that's what puts leatherworking slightly lower down on the list, unfortunately. Now, leatherworking in Classic actually has 3 specializations. You can go for dragon scale, you can go for elemental, and you can go for tribal, and each of which gives you kind of different sets of armor you can craft. And these are kind of cool, and some of them are actually really powerful, and you can make some gold with them. But again, I don't think it's quite as good as the other professions. And of course, leatherworking does have a couple of extra bits. You can make quivers, and you can make ammo pouches. So, you know, again, a bit of a niche thing, but you can make some things with leatherworking. I just don't think it's quite as good as the other two gear crafting professions. Now, like I said, a great thing about blacksmithing, which just put it ahead of leatherworking, is the fact that it can make other things. So it can make the skeleton keys that you can use to open the lockboxes and the chests, which are a pretty big deal back in Classic. You can also make enchanting rods, you can make belt buckles, you can make different kind of enhancements for your gear, such as shield spikes. So it does give you a lot of extra things, as well as the obvious gear crafting. Now, similar to leatherworking, blacksmithing has two distinct specializations which you go into, which is either the weapon mastery one, I think it's called weaponsmithing, or the armor smithing. And in general, I think armor smithing is considered to be much better for gold making than the weaponsmithing. So if you are looking to get blacksmithing, I would suggest going into that. And eventually you will be able to make some very powerful pieces, such as the dark iron set and stuff, which can make you a nice bit of gold. Okay, so the next three professions are all really, really close in my opinion in terms of what's the best for gold making. And again, it kind of depends on your personal preference. But for me, at number 3, I'm going to put Enchanting. The main reason I'm not putting Enchanting higher is because in Classic WoW, Enchanting is not a very good passive way of making gold, as in you can't put a load of scrolls up on the auction house, log out, log back in, and they've all sold. That's because you can't make the scrolls in Classic WoW. You can't sort of enchant a vellum like this, get the enchant and put it on the auction house. It doesn't work like that. You have to get someone, you have to advertise in trade chat and then get someone to give you the materials, and then you enchant the gear for them. So it's very much a kind of active gold making method, and it requires you to build up a sort of list of clients, which some people really, really love and other people don't like so much. Me personally, I prefer to work with the auction house rather than working with clients, although maybe that will change. I don't know, I haven't done it in a while, but for me that's not really my thing, and so I'm going to put Enchanting at number 3. However, Enchanting is a very, very, very good profession in Classic WoW. And one of the main reasons for this is the shuffles you can do with Enchanting. What do I mean by this? Well, Enchanting works very, very well with Tailoring. And when you can make stuff with Tailoring, you can then disenchant it with Enchanting, and that gives you the different dusts. And these dusts are very valuable in Classic WoW because they are required for leveling Enchanting. So particularly at the start of Classic WoW, there's going to be a lot of demand for these dusts. So if you do have an enchanter and you can just disenchant stuff, then you can sell these dusts. It's actually a really, really powerful thing. I'll talk about this a bit later, but one of the best shuffles is making stuff with rune cloth, such as Frostweave Pants, Wizardweave Robe, and then disenchanting that into the different Illusion Dust and Eternal Essences. And the Illusion Dust and the Eternal Essences can sell for quite a lot, and you can make quite a lot of gold with those. So that's one of the very powerful shuffles that you can do to make gold with Enchanting. Enchanters in Classic can also make wands, and they can make the mana oil, the different oil things that you can kind of add to your weapon. It's like a mini buff, so they can make a lot of different things, and it's a really good profession. Okay, so at number 2, I am going to put Tailoring. Now, as I've just explained, Tailoring and Enchanting work really well together. They're a great combination. So if you do have one of them, it's probably best to have the other one just so you can do the shuffles. I really like that combination. I mean, it's a good combination even nowadays in WoW, but it was even better back in Classic WoW. I've just explained a couple of the shuffles that you can do, but the basic idea is to use cloth or buy cloth on the auction house, use that to craft different tailoring items, and then disenchant the tailoring items, and that gives you different dusts and enchants that you can then sell. So it's a really, really good shuffle, and I think a lot of people are going to be making a lot of money with that. So that is one of the main reasons tailoring is so good, is because it works in the shuffle. But also tailoring is good on its own. Tailoring can make bags, again something which is very useful, particularly when a load of people are going to be leveling still. Bags are always useful, and even at max level, like the big bags are going to be useful for a lot of people. So the bags are going to be a great way to make gold in Classic WoW. Tailors can also make some really powerful gear, which can be like best in slot for a lot of classes. And they also have the Mooncloth cooldown, sort of daily cooldown, which is very, very powerful. So basically, tailoring is a great profession. Again, particularly good if you pair it up with enchanting. So the best gold making profession, in my opinion, is going to be alchemy. Now, alchemy is really powerful in Classic WoW, again, because it's more difficult to level up and people need all of the buffs they can get. So lower levels actually buy stuff like potions as well as max level. Whereas nowadays, if you're a low level, no one buys potions, but they actually do that whilst leveling in Classic WoW. So it's really great for selling to leveling players and selling to max level players, particularly when the raids are out. A lot of people are going to be buying the flasks and the potions. Now, the reason I like alchemy so much is you can sell things in bulk on the auction house, so it's probably the best profession if you want to make huge gold, like really, really big gold. It's probably the best to do that, because most of the other professions you either sell stuff in stacks of one, or you have to interact with other players to do it, and it's not as easy to sell mass quantities. But if you can buy the herbs for cheap in Classic WoW, or you gather them yourself, whatever you want, then it's going to be a much better idea. And a much better way to make gold is going to be through alchemy, just because you can sell so much stuff at once. Of course, they also have the transmutes, which are very powerful. Every 48 hours you can transmute the Arcanite, for example, which sells for a lot of gold. And there's loads of stuff you can make. Again, you can make the different oils for your weapons. You can make loads of different flasks, elixirs, mana potions, of course, just everything really. And even some stuff that raises resistance, and some quite specific potions that are going to come in handy in specific raids and dungeons. So it just has something for everyone, and it does have the daily cooldown, and it does have the ability to sell big stacks to large quantities of people. I think for the true gold makers, I think alchemy is going to be one of the best, if not the best profession. So that is it, guys. That is my list of the best professions in Classic WoW. Let me know what you think. In terms of what I'm going to be taking, like I say, I think I'm going to be taking skinning and herbalism whilst leveling. And then when I hit max level, I'm not actually sure. I'm either going to take enchanting and tailoring, because they work really well together, like I said, and they can do a lot of shuffles. And I probably will take that, at least at the start. And then once I've made a bit more gold from the enchanting and tailoring shuffle, I will drop one of those and I will take alchemy. Which one will I drop? I don't know. We'll see which one makes me the most gold. But I'll drop either one of enchanting or tailoring, and I will get alchemy and try and make a nice bit of gold from that. At least that's my plan. Maybe I will get alchemy straight away. I'm not sure yet, but I am really interested in the tailoring and enchanting shuffles you can do. And I'll be doing a lot more videos on stuff like that, so make sure you stay tuned. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you are excited about Classic WoW. And until next time, see ya.